And we are live. Yes. Yes, 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 we are live. Hi.
Hi, Meir.
Hi, how are you?
I'm great. Great. How are you doing?
Good and cold, but I like it.
You need to take some clothes off.
Well, we can do that. So what's going on?
Well, I'm really excited to speak with you today. With all the crazy stuff that's going on between coronavirus and the racial tensions that are happening in the US, I'm not sure how to talk to my kids about what's happening, and so I wanted to get your advice on how to communicate with your kids without freaking them out.
Okay, ask them questions. Ask them question and have this thing that you need to assume that they can confront anything. They can really confront anything. Only one thing they cannot confront. One thing is not good for them, lies. If you tell them the truth, if you tell them to observe, and if you grant them enough beingness that they will actually know, and you tell them, look, that's the data. What do you think going on here? And you will discover that what they think, it is fascinating, it's full with love, it's unbelievable, and in the process, you will realize also things because they see things in an unbelievable way. So ask them, and grant them the beingness to listen, to understand them, and you'll be amazed. And ask them, don't tell them what to think, but go and show them the data and say, well, this is what's happening here. This is what these people saying. This is what these people saying. And what do you think? What do you think? And they may ask you some question. Answer truthfully, like you talk to an adult. Don't think that because they have a small body, they don't understand, or they don't know, or they are lesser being than you, or they are less smart than you, or you need to protect them. No. They know, they can observe, and if you grant them the beingness that they know, you may learn something. So the short answer is there is no special way to talk to kids. You talk to them like you talk to an adult.
Okay. And what do you mean by granting them beingness?
Don't think that because they have a small body, you need to treat them differently. Treat them like you would want someone to treat you. That's a basic law. Treat others like you want them to treat you. It doesn't say treat adults like you want them to treat you, but kids you treat differently. Kids are people, just with a small body. And the lie that they are kind of a special life form that needs to be treated differently is the problem. If you take kids in Rome time, by the age of 13, they were in a war. You understand? They were sent to a war by the age of 13 because they granted enough beingness that, yes, you've got a small body, but we trust you. You can make things go right. You will understand. You know what's going on. Go for it. The problem is that parents overprotecting the kids and not just behaving to them like adults. That's the only problem with kids. Don't do to them what you wouldn't want someone else to do to you. Don't tell them what to do. Don't push them. Don't tell them, okay, that's it now. You stop this. You're going to do that. If someone will come to you and behave to you like that, you will kill them. If I will behave to you the way that people behave to their kids, you will kill me for sure with torture.
Yeah.
and by the way, even if a stranger will behave to your kid, like you behave to your kid, you will kill the stranger. So you want like a monopoly of torturing your kid. Parents want monopoly on torturing their kid. But the truth is, look at yourself, put it yourself and say, if a stranger will behave to my kid like that, if a stranger will just come and push the kids and say, hey, come on, let's go, we're going. Or if the stranger will start to talk badly about your kid, or if a stranger will shout at your kid, what will you do? You'll take a gun and you will physically shoot him, yes? Like, you don't do that to my kid, but you can do that to your kid.
I see that. Wow. Okay, so I wanted to get into the topic of criticism, just carrying forward, dealing with children. And as a parent, I want them to be the best they can be. And if I see something that I don't think is right, my first impulse is to try and correct them. I'm not trying to be mean. It's like constructive suggestions. But
Give me an example.
it doesn't always result in the right thing.
Yeah, give me an example. Give me an example of something that they do and you want to correct them.
Well, my son, he's 12, and he likes to stay up late. And then he's not happy in the morning. And so I tell him that he should go to bed earlier.
Okay, good. Excellent. How many times did you stay up late per week?
I usually stay up later than he does, so.
How many times per week you stay up late?
Every night.
Every night, good. Now imagine that your husband will come to you every night and from around 8 o'clock will tell you, you need to go to sleep because tomorrow morning I know you're going to act like bad. What would you tell to your husband?
He'd have a black eye if he did that.
Now, there's two things here. Number one, don't do to your kids what you don't want them to do to you. And number two, they look at you, they admire you. If you stay late, they want to stay late because what's good for you is good for them. Because they think that you're the most perfect person in the universe and anything that you do is correct. If you stay late, they want to stay late. So you cannot tell them to go to sleep or find anything wrong with them for wanting to be like you. You basically said to them, look, I'm finding something wrong with you for wanting to be like me. So what's the handling? What's the handling? The handling is actually to talk to them and see what they want to do, see what they feel. And you tell them, they wake up in the morning and they're very tired after they didn't sleep. And you ask them, so I see that you're tired. Is that true? Yes. Do you like it? No. Good. Excellent. How will you want to handle it? Well, tonight I will go to sleep early. Okay. Wonderful. If you want to go to sleep early, it's good. It will be very good. And come the night and they don't want to go to sleep early. And you come to them and you say, hey, you said that you wanted to go to sleep early tonight. Do you still want to go to sleep early? No. Okay. Not a problem. Not a problem. But you know that you didn't feel well tomorrow. You can make your body feel good tomorrow. It's okay. If you can, it's wonderful. But we need to have an agreement that if you stay late, you act nicely tomorrow. Do you agree with me? Yes. Okay, good. So the next morning he wake up and he does not act nicely. And you say, look, I just want to indicate that we agreed that you will act nicely. And I see you've done this and that, and it's okay. It's not a problem. I'm just wanting to indicate it. Do you want to go to sleep earlier tonight, maybe, or not? Because it's up to you. It's your body. You decide. It's your body. I don't tell you what to do with your body. I can show you. I can suggest to you things, but you decide. It's your body. You decide what's going on with your body. That's why it's your body. And you will see that once he will really realize that you're giving him the power of choice, he will make the right choice and he will go to sleep. But if you make him wrong and you will force him, what you will force, he will resist.
I definitely see that. I push, he pushes back.
You pushes back, and then you may get a few hours of sleep, but you lose your child.
Yeah.
This is what the pain. This is what the pain. You may win this battle of you put him to sleep, but you lose him. Every one of those pushbacks that you give him, you lose him a little bit more. And sooner than later, sooner than what you think, he's going to be 13, 14, 15. And good luck for you to push against him. But if all those years you work with him on agreement, you will still work with him on agreement because that's what he knows. But if all those years you work with him with pushing back, one day he will become stronger than you. And you have only about 13, 14 years when he's small, and you've got about 70, 80 years when he's big. So what do you think, do you understand? It's not such a good deal that you're doing, not for him and not for you.
Yeah.
Makes sense? So
Yes,
if
it
you
does.
want to have your child, just realize, don't do to him what you wouldn't want someone else to do to you. And don't use the excuse of, but he's small, he doesn't know. I have news for you. He knows everything. People know. And every time you tell to a child that he doesn't know, you're actually committing a sin against him and you're lying to him, because children know. And if you want to educate them to become stupid, tell them they don't know. I tell my children from the age of 0, you know. What do you mean? When they say, well, but I don't know. Of course you know. You're a spirit. The spirit is the thing that know. Of course you know. I trust you that you know. And they know. So don't do to them what you wouldn't want someone else to do to you.
Okay.
Does
Thank
make
you.
sense?
Yes, it does make sense.
Good.
Okay, so I wanted to keep on the subject of criticism,
Yeah.
carrying it from the family now into the business as a business owner, and working with different people. Sometimes they're not doing what I think they should be doing, and I want to help them improve. What's the best way to communicate with them about how to get the best result possible?
Shoot them. No, I'm joking. So the best way is to, first of all, look, and you need to get to a point where you know 100% that you train them properly. And I yet to see one company, one person that trained his people properly. Very seldom. Okay? So when you are, if someone will come to you and you start to work with him and he expecting you to know a lot of things and blah, 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 and yes, you should know and whatever, but he did not train you and you don't know what he wants. What will you think about this employee? You'd think that he's insane because he's like, how does he expect me to know? Mm-hmm. So I say that the reason businesses do not grow is because they don't know how to train their people. So instead of realizing that the problem is with me, I did not know how to train you, I find fault with you. In 99.999999999%, if I find fault with you, I did something wrong, because I say, God will help me to explain how you are to blame at what I didn't do or I did. And what I didn't do, what was my sin, did not train you. So the first thing is you need to train your people, because your income is monitored by the level and the quality of training you give your people. You need to train your people to a level where you know that they know 100% the job. Now, once that happens, if they still don't do the job, now it's a different handling. But that's 2%. Not 98%. Right now, what you have is 98% upset, 2% happiness. Yes, they don't do the job because you never actually train them. Now, if you look at that even further, you will see that the business owner that do not train his people is because he's not training himself.
What do you
A
mean?
business owner, if I don't train my people on Excel, let's say, is because I did not train myself on Excel. I maybe figured it out, blah, 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 but I didn't sit down and learn. So I think, well, they should figure it out. But actually, it's not a good way, because it took me to learn, let's say, Excel 5 years. And I've learned many, and then I've learned Excel, and I've used so much of Excel. And over the years, I've learned a little bit more and a little bit more, because I didn't actually get training. And I expect them to do what I've done in 5 years, but for me, it looks like a second in 3 days.
But aren't you supposed to hire people who are trained in a skill set? So then you don't have to spend the time training them, right?
You're never going to find someone that is trained in a skill set. You can have someone that has some background, but you train good people. You don't get good people ready. If they are ready and they know what they're doing, they will stay where they work. They will not come to you. They come to you, they've changed work because they actually have not been trained. So they go and they have not been trained. So they've done some bad things in the old place. So they leave and they come to you. When they come to you, every time a person moves a job, that's a general rule. It's not always true, but every time a person change a job is because he messed up in the earlier job. He doesn't want to admit. He find an excuse to leave. He comes to you and he hopes for the best, but already he has a lot of scratches and blind spots and so on. So the next job is even worse, and the next job is even worse, and the next job is even worse. Unless he hits some job where somehow someone is willing to train him, and then he will have success. And if he will have success, he will stay. The reason people work is because the reason people leave is because you did not train them, or you did not allow them to use the training that you gave them.
Okay. So how do you know how to properly train someone? Because we've had a lot of people in and out of our company. We thought we had a decent training program, but apparently not. So there's something not right there.
Yeah. So the truth is that you need to learn how to train. You need to learn. There's a whole skill set on how to train. And if you train properly, you will see that you will test the person. He will show you 100% a theoretical skill. You'll test him on a practical thing. He will show you 100% practical skills. And he will show you, you'll test him on creative application, and he will show you 100% creative application. Most people don't train. Some people train for the level of understanding. Even less people train for the level of application. All of that is useless, or almost useless, because those parts are only in order to get the person to apply creatively. Before you get the person to apply creatively, he's just a useless robot. Okay. And you've seen it around, and you've seen many people that has been trained for hours and hours, and they know how to say things verbatim, but they cannot apply it creatively. So they're stupid. They act like a robot. And you see a whole nation goes robotically like that. Germany in the Second World War has been trained robotically. And you got the Third Reich. Yes, that's the problem. Robotic training. It looks good. That's the problem, by the way, of military. Military, you'll see that when, if I take Israel, for example, so Israel was has been established, and there was I don't know, 600,000 people against 25 million people. with the army that was not an army without weapon, and they went and they fought and they won, and then 6 days war, and there was another win in 73. Why? Because before the soldiers were trained to be creative, to be powerful at the field, not to be robots. And as the organization become bigger and bigger and bigger, the people that run the organization try to prevent problem instead of creating wins. So they're trying to prevent losses instead of creating a win. And you will see that the soldier become just small nothing that has to do what he's been told to do. And then you don't have a win. And that's what happened with children. When you turn them into just a soldier that has to do what the mother and father has to say, the children will not come out so nicely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So well, the problem is the training. So you need to learn how to train. And of course, we're not going to teach it right now in the next 5 minutes, but that's the issue. If you want to learn how to train, you can private message me. You can follow me on Instagram, Meir Ezra official, and just DM me, and I will give you some direction, or I will see what we can do. And there's a lot we can do if you want to learn how to train your people. And if you want to learn generally the secrets of how do I know, is join one of my webinars. The next one is on Sunday, 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And I will teach you how you know, how you don't need to learn anything. And then if you teach your people how to know, rather than moving robotically the arms and doing actions robotically, you will see that your organization will become the best in the area. Very successful. You are as successful as your people are not robotic. It's better to have untrained people than robotically trained people in the long run. Short run, the robotically trained people will look better. Long run, you will see that it's better not to train people than to train them robotically. And if you look at organization around the world, you will see that organizations that train the people robotically eventually fail. Despite how amazing it seems, they eventually fail. Because the only reason an organization expands is because people can think for themselves, because they are their own source. Not because someone move the cables and you move your hands and legs. Really interesting.
Yes, definitely. It seems like there are a lot of robots in society right now. And a lot of people just kind of repeating what other people say that doesn't follow logically. How do I stop myself and the people I love from becoming robots, and how do I get these other people who are robots to wake up and actually look at what's happening?
Okay. So there are a few basic laws that most people can understand, those people that are not totally gone, most people that still have some kind of a spark in them of something resembling a spirit in them. So the definition of the word clever is the ability to recognize truth. Okay, clever is the ability to recognize truth. You need to know that the moment that you become afraid, anxious, the moment that you do things in order to avoid, not in order to create, you are not acting cleverly. I'll give you an example. If I'm afraid you know, in old days, they were afraid from caves with all kind of noises in them. And they never went into the caves, and they believed that there are all kind of gods in the caves and blah, 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 blah. And they were afraid, and the cave could save them, could give them place to sleep and everything, but they would not go to the cave. So they were cuckoo because they were afraid. And then one day someone came and he didn't hear about that thing that they need to be afraid. And he went in and he said, well, there's no gods in there. There's just lots of cockroaches. And I don't think that they are the god. And he went and he looked. Why? Because fear is actually an inability or an unwillingness to look. So when you're afraid, you need to know that you are blind. And when you are blind, I think that most people will understand that when you are blind, you don't see. And when you don't see, you cannot control so well. So when you are afraid, when someone tried to make you afraid, when someone tried to tell you that things are really bad and you can do nothing about it, they're 99.999% wrong. And even if they are right, it would be better for you to try and die in the attempt than to run away. But then 99.9999999% wrong. How do you know that they are wrong? Because they try to make you afraid, and you will see that they will need a lot of convincing. A lot of convincing. A lot of internal hoo-ha. Everything is amazing, or everything is bad, or everything is something. They will need to convince you in something very strongly if they're telling you a lie, because when it's truth, you see it. So when someone needs to tell you over the media, it's dangerous, it's dangerous, it's dangerous, it's dangerous, it's dangerous, it's not dangerous. They say, well, you know, after 9/11, 20,000 people will die in this thing, or maybe 30,000 people, either the 3,400 people die. Every person is a massive loss. Every person is families and children and cannot even imagine the amount of pain. But it's not 20,000. You understand? They always tell you that the situation is worse than what it is. Always. Why? Because they lie. Because they want you to be afraid. The media wants you to be afraid. The media wants you to be afraid because if you're afraid, they can control you. But imagine that you have people that are really smart. They can recognize truth. They can spot, this is lie, this is true, this is lie, this is true. Will the media be able to sell you anything? No. So the one thing they don't want you to be is clever. So what they give you is not actually data. What they give you is modified data. And modified data called lies. Because what is a lie? A lie, the definition of a word, a lie is a change from the original. It's anything that is not a fact. Fact, it's something that can be proven to exist in the physical universe, while opinion is something that may or may not be able to be proved. The media should report facts, and facts never make you afraid. It's really, I know it sounds almost weird. You know, we've done the bungee jumping, and before the bungee jumping, everyone was afraid. While we've been on the bus, while we were walking there, we were totally secure, 100% secure. Nothing could happen to anyone from the bungee jumping. It was a few hours ahead, but everyone was really afraid. When we go to the bungee jumping and you get connected to the cable and you are really afraid, you're still on safe ground. When they drop you, when you jump, the first thing that comes to your mind is, it was so amazing. People come up and they say, it was the most liberating thing in the universe. I don't believe how this is not. So the time that it was the most dangerous, when you are falling, you felt amazing. And on the way in the bus, when it's really secure, you didn't. Yes? Yeah. Why? Because if you are afraid, if you don't have the actual data, once you have the actual data of, I'm now falling, this is what's happening, it's fine, you're having it. Because the only thing that you're afraid of is you're afraid of being afraid. You're not afraid of bungee jumping, you're afraid of being afraid. So what you need to know is that the actual data the actual accurate data will actually open the door for handling. You go to a war, the problem is not how many soldiers there are there. The problem is what you don't know, what's missing in the data. If you had all the data, you will be able to come up with a plan to win. Does it make sense?
Yes.
So what you want is all the data, and you need to know if someone calls you to be afraid, if someone calls you to be anxious, if someone calls you to be smaller, he's lying to you. If someone wants to control you, he lies to you. It sounds weird. If someone wants to control you, he lies to you. If you want to control your wife, you lie to your wife. Otherwise, open, do whatever you want. If someone wants to control you, you need to know he lies to you always. Because otherwise, he will not want to control you. He will want to give you more control so you can grow. Let me just say hi to everyone. So, Malka Baron, hi. Andrea, hi. Let's see who else we have. Tressa, hi. Shoulders and Swapna. And John Swazinski, hello. And Facebook user, which I don't know who he is, but hi, Facebook user. And Amit, hello. And yes, amazing messages. Monica, hello. And Carmela and Andrea. And Lorna, hi Lorna. And Christiana, hi. Very nice to see everyone. Fear, wow. That's very, very interesting. Nice. And Amit is here. Very nice to see everyone on Facebook. Some of you are on Instagram, but I cannot see your messages. And if you're on Facebook, please start a watch party so other people will get that. That's something that we should have done in the beginning, but it's better late than never. So start a Facebook watch party. It will be really nice. You will get more people there to see it. If you are on Instagram, thank you for watching. And if you have any question, if you want to know anything more, ask me on Instagram. I will answer. I always answer. If you want to join Sunday, if you want to learn more, if you want to learn some unbelievable secrets of this universe, join Sunday, 3 p.m. You will find how you arrived here, what's happened, why are you here, why you are not using your full potential, how come that your potential is here and your result is below the screen, yes? how come you are so powerful, but the result are not following? Somehow the result did not hear about how powerful you are. All of these things will be answered on this free webinar on Sunday. Extremely free, extremely difficult. It's not an easy webinar. If you want to come and smoke a cigar and just sit there and do nothing, don't come. If you want to come and work and participate, because it's a live webinar, I'm talking to you, asking me questions, I'm asking you questions, you're answering. There is an actual interchange. If you're willing to work and to look and to do the drills and to confront and actually get result, you are welcome. Otherwise, you can come. I will not tell you no, but I think that it will be better for you to go and see Netflix or something, you know, something productive. Okay. So if you're willing to change your life, if you're ready to discover the truth, come. It's not easy, but powerful, super powerful. Any other questions?
No.
Thank you, Jude.
And I will be there on Sunday also.
Good. Okay, good. So any other questions or we're done?
That's it.
That's it. Okay. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Janelle. Thank you for interviewing me and for the questions. And thank you, everyone, for listening. And thank you, Amit and Swapna, for helping and setting it up. And thank you for Shamaya that came up with this whole idea of doing this thing. And she's still running it somehow at the background and making things go right. And thank you for everyone that's watching. And you and Gali that helps me with everything. I love you. I love you. Mwah. Bye-bye.
Bye, thanks.
Thank you.